Aaron Vale had always liked old things. Old ships, old stations, old plans that nobody used anymore. When he heard about the hidden hangar drifting near the edge of the Orion Belt, he didn't think twice. It was not on any map, and the idea of finding a cheap starship in a place no one visited made his heart race. Most people would stay away from an abandoned hangar. Aaron, however, loved the quiet thrill of the unknown. The hangar came into view slowly, a dark silhouette against the glimmering stars. Its surface was scarred and rusty, like it had been forgotten for decades. No lights, no signals. Just a huge metal structure floating silently in the void. Aaron guided his small shuttle close, scanning for docking points. Nothing responded. The hangar seemed completely dead, which made him more curious. Something about dead places felt alive in a way normal stations never were. He activated the manual docking clamp and drifted toward the wide entry doors. They didn't open at first. A shiver ran through him as he realized the hangar might have more security than he expected. Then slowly the doors parted with a long grinding hiss. Inside, darkness stretched for hundreds of meters. Shadows hid massive ship hulls, crates, and machinery piled in strange angles. A faint metallic smell filled the shuttle cabin. Aaron swallowed hard. This was not just an abandoned place. Someone, or something, had been here recently. Aaron switched on his flashlight and stepped onto the hangar floor. Every footstep echoed. He called out, "Hello? Anyone here?" His voice bounced back from the walls, sounding small and uncertain. No answer. That didn't surprise him. Most of the time, abandoned hangars were empty. But something in the back of his mind said he wasn't alone. He had learned to trust that feeling over years of traveling the outer belts. As he moved deeper, he noticed a faint glimmer on one of the walls. At first, he thought it was a reflection from the metal panels. But the glow didn't move with the angle of his light. It stayed in place, soft, almost like breathing. Aaron froze. His pulse quickened. He crouched and peered closer. The glow came from a pair of eyes. Big, golden, and intelligent. They stared at him, calm but tired. He felt a chill run down his spine. He took a cautious step forward. The eyes blinked. That's when he saw her. A dragon woman. Her wings were folded awkwardly against her back, bound with shimmering chains that looked more like energy than metal. Her long tail curled around the floor, trying to balance her upright stance. Her scales were deep emerald, catching tiny reflections from the dim lights above. Even in chains she was beautiful. But there was something sad about her. Something that made Aaron stop and stare, forgetting the ship he had come to buy. She spoke, her voice low and strange, a mix of human tones and something else. "Do you have the key?" she asked. She sounded tired. Not angry. Not scared. Just tired. Aaron shook his head. I don't. I didn't even know you were here." He felt his hands shake slightly. Something about her presence made him aware of every sound in the hangar, every shadow. She studied him. Her eyes were sharp, like she was measuring every possibility. "Then why are you here?" she asked. "To buy a ship," he said carefully. He did not want to lie, but it sounded foolish even to himself. "I heard someone left one here. I thought it was abandoned." She tilted her head. "Abandoned? Nothing here is abandoned." Her words were soft, almost a whisper, yet they carried weight. Something about the way she said it made Aaron's heart thump. He realized he had walked into a place that wasn't meant for humans. Aaron scanned the hangar again. Empty crates, huge ship parts, and shadows everywhere. But now he noticed small details. A flicker of light under a crate. Strange marks on the wall like someone had dragged a heavy object. The chains on her wrists were linked to a tall metal frame embedded into the floor, humming faintly. Whoever chained her here did not want her to escape, and yet he had no clue who they were or why. "What happened to you?" he asked softly. She hesitated. "Captured. Kept for exhibition." "But I am not a pet," she said, her voice shaking slightly. "I am a Sharon." Aaron swallowed. The name sounded like a song, soft and long. "Oh, Aaron Vale," he said. "I'm not here to hurt you." Sharon blinked slowly. For a moment, the tension in her posture softened. "Most humans are," she said quietly. Aaron took another step closer. His mind raced. He was not strong, not a soldier. But he had experience with salvages, traps, and people who underestimated him. Somehow he knew he had to help her. Not just because it was right, but because no one else would. And somehow he knew she could not survive much longer here alone. Then the lights above flickered. A low alarm hummed in the distance, silent to the human ear but loud in its presence. The chains glowed brighter. The hangar felt smaller. Shadows seemed to creep closer. Aaron realized that staying calm was going to be harder than he thought. He didn't know who would arrive or if anyone would arrive at all. But he could not leave her chained. He would not. He looked at her eyes again. Golden, intelligent, and full of patience he had never earned. And for the first time in years he felt a kind of fear he liked. Not the fear of dying. The fear of failing someone who truly needed him. Aaron clenched his fists. I don't know how yet, he said, but I'm going to get you out of here. Sharon studied him for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. Not in hope, not in trust, but in recognition. Somehow, in a hangar abandoned and hidden from maps, two beings who should have never met were now tied together by something stronger than fear. Something called human persistence and a kind of courage that didn't come from weapons. The hangar held its breath. And so did Aaron Vale. Aaron sat on the cold metal floor, a few meters from Sharon, and tried to think clearly. He had no weapons, no tools to break chains, and no backup. All he had was his mind and a determination that surprised even himself. The hangar was silent, except for the faint hum of the chain restraints and the distant twinkle of lights above. Sharon watched him carefully, her golden eyes sharp and thoughtful. I need to know what I'm dealing with, Aaron said slowly. Why are you here? Who put you in chains? Sharon shifted slightly. Her wings, though folded, brushed against the floor, making a soft scraping sound. I am the last of my kind, she said. Her voice was quiet but strong. We were once called the starbound dragons. Our species could travel the stars without ships, without engines. We were explorers, historians, keepers of knowledge. But the galaxy hunted us. They said we were too dangerous, too rare to exist. Aaron's eyes widened. He had heard myths, old stories told in the outer belts about dragons that could survive in space, creatures that could think and talk like humans. He never believed them. But now, sitting in a hangar with one chained a few meters away, he could not deny it. They thought we were extinct, she continued. Most of my kind are gone. I was captured by collectors who value rare things more than life. They keep us as trophies, not as living beings. Aaron's stomach tightened. The galaxy was cruel, but humans were known to follow rules. He wondered how a human or alien could justify chaining a creature like her. Collectors? He asked. Like criminals? Sharon shook her head slowly. Legally, I am considered property. The laws that protect species like mine were removed hundreds of years ago. I am not allowed to be free in this system. That is why I am chained. That is why the shipyard exists. Aaron felt a rush of anger and disbelief. People could be so cruel and laws could be so blind. But he also felt something else. He realized humans had a chance here to do what no one else could. To follow rules in a way that mattered. To act when others only looked the other way. He glanced at her chains. They were advanced, pulsing with energy, unbreakable by his small tools. But maybe there was a loophole he could use. Have you ever seen another human? Sharon asked. Her voice was quiet, almost curious. Aaron shook his head. No. But I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to help. She looked at him carefully. Most humans fear my kind. They see only the size, the wings, the fire we can make. They do not see the mind inside, the history, the memory of stars we carry. You look different. You do not look afraid. Not really. Aaron smiled weakly. I've seen enough danger in the belts to know fear doesn't always make sense. Sometimes courage matters more. Sharon tilted her head, studying him. Courage is rare among humans. Most only survive by avoiding risk. But you risk yourself just by being here. Aaron laughed softly. I don't know about that. Maybe I'm just stubborn. Or maybe I like to see how things end. He glanced around the hangar. The crates and ship parts were covered in dust, but not completely. Signs of life were everywhere. Tools recently used, a faint oil smell, footprints in the metal flooring. Whoever captured her was still nearby, or at least had been. That meant time was important. Every moment she stayed chained increased the chance of something worse happening. How long have you been here? He asked. Sharon sighed. Months. Maybe longer. I have lost track of time. In space, time is strange. I have watched ships come and go, but no one stopped to look. They only took what they wanted and left. Aaron felt a deep sadness. He hated that she had suffered so long without someone noticing. But he also felt determination. Humans had something the galaxy often overlooked. They had patience. They had ingenuity. They followed rules and found loopholes others ignored. And sometimes they cared in ways that could change history. He stood and paced slowly. Okay, he said. I don't know yet how I'm going to get you out. But I promise you this. I will not leave until you are free. Not because I want a hero story, not because anyone will ever know, but because it is the right thing to do. Sharon blinked. For the first time, her wings relaxed slightly. You are different. Humans are rarely like you. Most only see what they can gain. Most do not see what is here inside of me. Aaron crouched beside her again. Then we'll figure it out together. You don't have to do this alone anymore. She tilted her head, considering him. Alone? Yes. I've been alone for so long. Even in crowds I was alone. Maybe it is time to trust again. Aaron nodded. We start small. First, we figure out who can see us, who controls the chains. Then we find a way to make the rules work for us. That is what humans do. We look at the system and bend it, legally, cleverly, so that what should be impossible becomes possible. Sharon listened quietly. She had spent centuries in fear, in hiding, in captivity. Now, for the first time, she felt something she had almost forgotten. Hope. Not hope that someone would fight for her, but hope that a human could see the value in her life, in her story, and use what they knew to free her. Aaron checked the hangar again. Nothing moved in the shadows, but he could feel the presence of others. It did not matter. He had a plan forming. A plan that relied not on brute force, not on weapons, but on something far more human. Patience, intelligence, and a willingness to act when no one else would. Sharon watched him quietly. She had seen many humans, many species, but this human, this small, clever human, was unlike the others. She did not yet know if he would succeed. But for the first time in months she felt a flicker of trust. Aaron Vale, the human who came to buy a ship, had unknowingly stumbled into something far bigger than himself. He had found a legend, a survivor of the stars, and he had decided to fight in a way no one expected. Not with guns, not with engines, not with power, but with his mind, his rules, and the stubborn human heart that refused to turn away from injustice. And so, in a hangar that was not on any map, a human and a dragon woman began the first steps of a journey that would change the way the galaxy remembered humans forever. Aaron Vale walked slowly along the hangar floor, his eyes scanning every shadow, every crate, every piece of machinery. Sharon stayed close, her chains humming softly with restrained energy. She moved carefully, watching him, waiting. Aaron could feel her tension. It was easy to understand. She had been captured, chained, and forgotten for months, or maybe years. In her world, few ever noticed humans. In his, few ever noticed dragons. Aaron crouched beside one of the chains and studied it. It was unlike anything he had seen before. Energy pulsed along the metal links, and a small panel on the side blinked a dull red. Whoever built this chain had intended it to last. Physical force alone would not break it. But Aaron had a different idea. He had spent years reading manuals, studying laws, and looking for ways to make impossible things happen without firing a single shot. He knew humans had a strange advantage. They often saw things others missed. What are you thinking? Sharon asked. Aaron glanced at her. I'm thinking the obvious solution is not the solution at all. Force doesn't work here. Strength doesn't work here. But humans always look for the rules. The loopholes. The technicalities that let you do what no one else expects. She tilted her head, a small spark of curiosity in her golden eyes. Rules? You mean you can free me, with paperwork? Aaron smiled. Not exactly paperwork, but close. Sometimes the thing everyone forgets is that laws, systems, and rules exist for a reason. And if you know the reason, you can use it. Humans are good at noticing the things others ignore. That is what makes us dangerous. Sharon studied him, not entirely convinced. So you are saying, you can get me out without breaking these chains? Yes, he said. I think I can. But I need time. Time was something the hangar seemed to have plenty of. The shadows moved slowly, the lights flickered in a steady pattern, and no one had returned to check on Sharon. Whoever had chained her here assumed she would stay that way. That was their mistake. Aaron walked to one of the crates and pushed it lightly. It made a dull metallic thud. Then he opened a small panel on its side and examined the wiring inside. These chains are connected to the hangar's systems, he said. If I can control the hangar, I can control the chains. But the system is old and the authorization is complicated. It requires someone who owns the property. Sharon frowned. Property? They made me property? Aaron nodded. Technically. But humans have rules about ownership. If you own something, the system has to obey you. You can't just take it. And that is how we will free you. I own this hangar now. Her eyes widened. You what? I did it quietly, he said. I noticed a loophole in the salvage registry. The hangar was listed as abandoned property. Legally it could be purchased. I used a small terminal outside the main system to submit a claim. In the system's eyes, I own this hangar. That means I own everything inside, including the chains. Asheron's mouth fell open slightly. So, you can release me, just because the law says so? Aaron nodded. Exactly. The law works in strange ways, but it works. Sometimes humans survive and succeed because they notice what others forget. That is what makes us different. That is what we always miss. She studied him silently for a long moment. Then slowly her chains glowed and clicked. The energy field around them dimmed. A soft hiss filled the hangar as the locks disengaged one by one. Asheron tested the movement of her arms and wings. Freedom felt strange, almost painful after so long. She flexed her claws and wings, marveling at the sensation. Aaron stepped back, smiling. See? You're free. No fighting required. No force. Just noticing the rules. Asheron looked at him, amazement in her eyes. Humans are dangerous in ways no one understands, she whispered. You did not try to overpower me. You did not try to trick me. You used something I never expected. That's what humans do, Aaron said softly. We notice what others miss. Sometimes that is all it takes to survive or to help someone else survive. She stretched her wings carefully, testing her balance. The chains had not harmed her, but the restraint had been long. It would take time to regain full strength. She stepped toward him slowly, her golden eyes never leaving his. I do not know if I can trust any human, she said. But I can trust you, I think. You see more than others. You see what matters. Aaron nodded. And I will keep seeing it as long as I can. Asheron lowered her head slightly, a gesture of acknowledgement. Then, we leave together? Yes, Aaron said. We leave. But not yet. We have to be careful. Whoever chained you may still return. We need a plan. We need to think like humans, and act like humans. That is our advantage. She tilted her head, a small smile forming on her face. I am beginning to understand humans. You are strange, persistent, and patient. The galaxy forgets about you, underestimates you. But you are clever. Perhaps more clever than anyone expects. Aaron chuckled. I'll take that as a compliment. For the first time in months, Asheron felt something she had almost forgotten. Hope. Not hope that someone would come to rescue her with force, but hope that humans could see the value of life, of freedom, and use their strange skills to make impossible things happen. She could not leave yet, but now she knew she had an ally. A human who noticed, who acted, and who refused to look away. Aaron began moving toward the control terminals at the back of the hangar. We have work to do, he said. We need to secure this place, make sure no one can recapture you, and get a ship that can leave the system safely. The galaxy does not expect a human to do what we are about to do. That is exactly why we will succeed. Asheron followed him carefully, her wings brushing against the hangar walls. She watched him with fascination and respect. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but they had a quality the galaxy often ignored. Persistence, intelligence, and the courage to do what others could not see. And as Aaron worked, she realized something else. Perhaps the galaxy had underestimated humans for centuries. Perhaps they had no idea what humans were capable of when they noticed the things others always missed. In a dark hangar at the edge of the Orion Belt, a human and a dragon woman began their careful plan to leave, a plan that relied not on force, not on luck, but on the one thing humans always seemed to notice when no one else did: the rules, the loopholes, and the cleverness hidden in plain sight. Aaron Vale and Asheron moved carefully through the hangar. The chains were gone, and the soft hum of the restraints no longer held her in place. She flexed her wings, stretching slowly, testing her strength. Every movement felt strange after months of captivity, but freedom was a feeling she had almost forgotten. Aaron watched her closely, thinking of their next step. We need a ship, he said quietly. One that can leave the system fast, one that can hide from anyone who might come looking. Asheron nodded. I can fly outside, but the hangar is too dangerous. Too many eyes. Aaron's mind worked quickly. The hangar was off the maps, but someone had noticed them already. A few blinking lights from external satellites confirmed it. There were scans. Patrols. Whoever had chained her here had left traces. They would return. We need to be smart, he said. Fast, quiet, and clever. The galaxy thinks humans can't do more than run and fight. That is why we have an advantage. We think differently. Asheron studied him, wings folding neatly against her back. You really trust the rules more than force, she said. I never understood humans until now. Aaron smiled. Sometimes the galaxy underestimates you, Asheron. They think power is all that matters. But humans, good humans, can use what others ignore. Patience, cleverness, loopholes. things that no weapon can match. She looked at him carefully. And you think we can leave this hangar unnoticed? I know we can, he said. We just need to move fast. First, we secure the control terminals. Then we find a ship. Then we go. Aaron worked quickly, using small tools and his knowledge of salvage systems. He bypassed old security protocols, accessed the hangar's registry, and created a fake authorization that made the system see them as legitimate owners. The alarm stayed silent. The doors opened automatically. The chains that had bound Asherin now hummed harmlessly, disconnected from the system. Asherin stepped forward, testing her wings again. This is freedom, she whispered. Her voice was soft, almost emotional. I can feel it. For the first time in years. Aaron nodded. Not everyone gets this chance, he said. Most dragons, most creatures like you, are forgotten. People assume legends die. But humans, we notice. We act when others won't. That is our strength. She looked at him, her golden eyes thoughtful. You are dangerous in ways I do not understand. You do not fight like others. You think like others do not. And that is why we will leave safely, Aaron said. Because humans always see what others miss. They moved to the hangar bay where small ships were stored. Most were rusted, old, abandoned. But in a far corner, Aaron spotted a medium-class freighter. Its engines had been maintained recently, hidden beneath crates and shadow. A perfect ship. That's ours, he said. Quick, small, easy to hide. It won't be fast enough to outrun everything, but it's enough. Asherin examined it carefully. I have never flown a human ship, she said. But I can help with navigation in space. The stars will guide us. Aaron laughed. Then we're a good team. I fly, you guide. Together, we leave the Orion belt without anyone noticing. He powered the ship. Lights flickered on, panels came alive. Asherin watched him with fascination. The galaxy thinks humans are simple, she said softly. But they forget you can adapt. You can notice things no one else does. That is why we can do this. The hum of the engines filled the hangar. They moved quickly, loading supplies and plotting their route. The hangar sensors did not detect the activation. They were old, outdated, and no one had checked them in years. Humans could use old systems to do what others could not. Aaron smiled. That was the advantage he had been counting on. As they prepared to leave, small alerts began blinking on the ship's console. Communications from the nearby patrols, satellites scanning for anomalies. Someone had noticed activity in the area. It was only a matter of time before they would send ships. But Aaron was ready. He had planned for this. He had always planned for the moment when others tried to control him. Humans had survived for centuries by thinking ahead. Asherin flexed her wings fully for the first time. Her scales shimmered in the light. Then we leave, she said. The galaxy will notice soon enough. Aaron nodded. Yes, but not because of violence. Not because we fight. Because humans do what others forget to do. We notice, we act, and sometimes we change things without anyone expecting it. They activated the ship's engines. The hangar doors slid open slowly. Aaron guided the ship out, careful not to trigger alarms. Asherin lifted herself beside the freighter, testing the vacuum of space with her wings. The feeling of open stars, cold and silent, filled her with awe. Freedom, she realized, had been waiting for her outside these walls all along. As they moved away from the hangar, small flashes appeared on nearby satellites. Alerts, questions, calculations. The galaxy had begun to notice. A dragon freed. A human clever. A plan that no one expected. Soon word would spread. Traders, collectors, historians, and law officers would talk about the event. They would not understand how it happened. How a human, so small and underestimated, could free a starbound dragon from chains meant to hold her forever. But Aaron did not care. He and Asherin were already moving through space, away from danger, away from those who underestimated them. The galaxy could notice all it wanted. Humans had always survived because they saw what others missed. And now, a dragon would survive because a human had noticed, acted, and refused to turn away. For the first time in decades, Asherin felt the true meaning of freedom. Not as a prize, not as a gift, but as the result of human thought, persistence, and courage. She understood something she had not known before. Humans were not defined by strength or numbers, but by their ability to notice, adapt, and act when no one else would. And as the freighter drifted silently through the Orion belt, carrying both human and dragon, Aaron smiled. The galaxy might notice soon, but it would notice too late. Humans had changed the course of this story. Not with power, not with weapons, but with the one thing the universe often forgot. The mind and heart of a human who refused to look away. Aaron Vale sat in the cockpit of the small freighter, watching stars pass by like glittering fire. A Sharon floated nearby, her wings fully extended, catching the light of distant suns. She had flown through space many times before but never with a human. Now she realized that humans were unpredictable in a way that was both dangerous and brilliant. Aaron had freed her, not with weapons, not with engines, but with thought and persistence. That was something the galaxy often forgot. "You were right," a Sharon said softly, her golden eyes focused on the stars. "Humans always notice what others miss. I doubted you at first. I thought you were just another creature of habit, small and fragile." She turned toward him. "I was wrong. You are clever, patient, and persistent. That is why I am free." Aaron smiled. "It's what humans do. We look at the rules, the systems, the little things no one else sees. Sometimes that is enough to change a life, or even more." Sharon's wings twitched as she considered him. "The galaxy will notice soon," she said. "They always notice dragons. They will ask how I escaped. They will search for the human who helped me." Aaron shrugged. "Let them notice. Humans survive because we think ahead. We act when no one else does. The galaxy has underestimated us for centuries. This is just another example." For the first time, Sharon felt hope without fear. The chains were gone. The hangar was behind them. She could feel the pull of freedom in her bones. She stretched her wings fully, spinning slowly in the vacuum of space, testing her strength. "I have been captured, chained, and hidden," she said quietly. "Most humans would never have bothered. Most would have walked away. But you saw me. You noticed. You acted." Aaron leaned back in his chair. "That is all humans really need. To notice, to care, and to act. That is how we survive. That is how we help. That is how we change things others say cannot be changed." Sharon nodded slowly. "Then the galaxy is about to learn something new." Aaron grinned. "Maybe. Or maybe they'll just forget like they always do. Humans don't always get credit. But that does not matter. What matters is that we do the right thing even if no one sees it." Sharon drifted closer. "I want to understand humans better. I have seen many species, many civilizations. None are like you. You survive not by strength, not by numbers, not by firepower. You survive by thinking, by noticing, by refusing to ignore injustice. That is rare. That is remarkable." Aaron looked at her, feeling a strange pride. "We don't always succeed. Sometimes we fail. But the difference is we try. And we don't stop trying when others say it is impossible." She studied him, her gaze softening. "You have taught me something humans often forget. You have reminded me why life is worth saving. You have reminded me why the galaxy should not give up on your kind. Even when humans are underestimated, you can do what others cannot." Aaron nodded. "That's the truth. Humans notice the small things. The things others ignore. And sometimes the small things are enough to change everything." Sharon's wings glimmered in the faint light. "Then I will remember you. I will remember this human, the one who freed me. The one who saw me when no one else did." Aaron smiled quietly. "And I will remember you, the last of the starbound dragons. The one who reminded me why humans are worth believing in." 4 days they traveled through space, quietly avoiding patrols and scanners. News began to reach the outer systems. Rumors of a dragon freed from an old hangar, a human involved in the event. Traders whispered about it. Historians debated it. Some called it impossible, others called it a miracle. But all who heard the story began to notice something new. Humans did not always act like everyone expected. Humans could see, understand, and act in ways the galaxy had long forgotten to respect. Sharon finally spoke after a long silence. "Humans, you may be small, fragile, and underestimated. But your minds, your persistence, your ability to notice, it is dangerous. And beautiful. The galaxy should pay attention to you." Aaron chuckled. "We get by. We survive. And sometimes we save others. That's enough for me." They entered a small neutral system, far from patrols and traders. Sharon landed softly on a quiet moon, stretching her wings fully in the low gravity. Aaron followed in the freighter, shutting down the engines to avoid detection. For the first time both felt safe. "You will be safe here," Aaron said. "No one knows this place. No one expects a dragon to land here. And I will keep watch. Humans notice, Sharon. And we act." She looked at him, golden eyes shining with gratitude. "Then perhaps the galaxy will remember humans differently. Perhaps it will learn that humans are not just weak, small, or violent. Perhaps it will remember that humans notice, that humans care, that humans act when others would ignore injustice. That is the true power of your kind. Aaron smiled. Maybe. Or maybe you will forget again. Humans often get overlooked. But what matters is that we tried. What matters is that you are free. Sharon stretched one last time and took to the skies above the moon, her wings cutting through the thin atmosphere with ease. She soared higher and higher, feeling the stars, feeling the freedom she had almost lost. Aaron watched her, quietly proud. Humans were often underestimated. The galaxy rarely understood their cleverness, their persistence, their strange ability to notice what others missed. But in that moment, with a dragon soaring above the moon and a human who refused to turn away, the truth was clear. Humans could do extraordinary things. They could change lives, save legends, and even shift the course of history, all by noticing what others forgot and refusing to do nothing. Sharon looked back once, her gaze meeting his. Thank you, Aaron Vale. You have reminded me that humans are more than the galaxy expects. You have reminded me that courage can take many forms, and that intelligence, patience, and care are sometimes stronger than weapons. Aaron nodded. And you have reminded me that freedom is worth fighting for in every way, no matter who we are or what the galaxy says. Humans notice. Humans act. And humans do not give up easily. The stars stretched endlessly around them, quiet and eternal. And in the silence, one human and one dragon shared a truth the galaxy had long forgotten. Humans were capable of remarkable things even in the smallest, quietest ways. And the stars remembered.